Because great work is worth talking about. This is the Tell Your Friends podcast, brought to you by Simply Distinct Kitchens and Baths. Hear what our customers have to say about their recent remodeling project, the before, during, and after, the good, bad, and the beautiful. Now, here's the president of Medina Exteriors and Simply Distinct Kitchens and Baths, and your host, Brett Ruiz.
Hi, I'm Brett Ruiz, and this is Tell Your Friends. Recently, we did a project for the Kupiaks, Ron and Stephanie, and the number one thing, I don't know if they were concerned about, but the number one issue that we ran into was something that we did wrong, and we're able to walk through that with them. So we want to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to take a look around their home, and we're going to see how we did. So let's talk, because great work is worth talking about. So tell us a little bit about, at the beginning, Ron and Stephanie, in regards to the project and, what you did to, pick a contractor, the pricing and all that stuff, kind of the beginning stages of process of remodeling your kitchen.
I think you did a lot of that. Did a lot of research.
I think we, looked at different options to see what might be good for us. And then ultimately just tried to pick somebody or a company that fit with us or that we felt comfortable with.
I did a lot of research into your company and had talked to some of the people that you guys did previous work for.
Okay. So a lot of research. It makes sense. What are some things for our audience as they're listening, some things that you would tell them to maybe look for? I know you did some research and then you did some references, anything that in your process that would help our audience to know how to pick a contractor possibly?
I think it's a lot about price point and what you're comfortable with. And if somebody that's reputable and that has done several other jobs for other people, I don't think you should take the highest bid or the lowest bid, or get somebody that hasn't done this in the past and doesn't have a record of doing the job.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We hear that a lot. Appreciate you sharing that. So tell us a little bit before, like when we were the space that you have and what you were looking to solve in regards to the actual project and, functionality, concerns, things like that.
Well, we moved into the house back in December of 2019. So it was an existing home and it had a somewhat outdated kitchen with mostly all cherry cabinets. It was just kind of dark in nature. So the cabinets were dark, the countertops were dark, and the floor was sort of a ugly yellowish
old tile,
beige tile.
Yeah.
Which also extended into the bathroom that was right off of the kitchen, and then also the entryway in from the garage. And our main goal really was to try to lighten up the space a little bit, just redo the flooring, taking out the tile, updating it, making it look a little bit more modern, making it just generally look, brighter, more inviting in general.
And as you went through the process, obviously you've signed, you're getting ready to get your kitchen, you're getting excited, and these issues. And I think another one was, didn't we have a bunch of stuff on all the countertops and everything? If I recall, you wanted to kind of hide some stuff, if I remember.
Well, we were thinking about getting like the appliance garages and things and hiding different appliances. Ultimately didn't really do that. We did put the microwave up over the countertop versus over the stovetop.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about we've started, got the demo, the scheduling and the disruptions. You have dogs,
yes.
Obviously. So tell us a little bit how you navigated that process, how the communication was, the disruptions, things like that from, Stephanie, Kevin, and our team.
I mean, I don't think there were a lot of disruptions per se. I mean, I think the CoConstruct app is really a good tool that you guys use. And I guess Stephanie's the manager of all that and scheduling. And she did a really good job, and I was on it a lot, messaging. And I think that kind of streamlined the whole thing. And a lot of times, I'd say 90% of the time, neither of us was home. So, and we trusted you guys to come in and do the work and clean up and go home. And that worked out really well. So, and we didn't have any problems with any of that. The dogs were usually locked up in the basement, and it worked out pretty well, I think.
It did. I mean, with that said, any project, I think, in the home, or especially the kitchen, where it affects, what you're doing on a daily basis, from my perspective, at least, was a little bit challenging. Not to be expected challenge, not from anything that, you guys were doing. You were doing exactly what we anticipated you to do, but it was just figuring out how to make dinner, how to wash dishes, how to, the dust and all that comes with those types of projects and things along that line were a little bit challenging, but no more than what I would generally expect.
What we did do is your guys, Kevin and your guys, we had a fridge up here. We ended up putting it in the basement, and we took a bunch of old cabinets and put it in the basement, and we bought a one of those little makeshift ovens, and we had that in the basement. So we kind of set up a basement kitchen, a makeshift basement kitchen, and that kind of alleviated a lot of the stuff that comes along with the big remodel.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense. The dust, it's a disruption in your life that, we see. And even when I remodel, I feel the same thing too. My wife's the same way. You're used to turn this way and you got that, and it's just
but it was very exciting though, on the other hand, because, this was a project that you were really looking forward to. And then you would come home at night and all that tile was gone. And you were like, that's great. All that tile is gone,
right.
And then it was just seeing each step that, you went to the next thing. And, that was fun to look forward to.
So what I want to get to, I appreciate you all sharing that and that process and letting our audience know those things as far as walking through a remodel, the expectations. And that was great information, Ron and Stephanie, in regards how you temporarily set up something to alleviate some of that stress or, just that not normal thing that was going on. But so I want you guys to tell your side of our little snafu that we had, and open game. Let us know what had happened. And then I know, Ron, you have your portion side of it. I know, Stephanie, you have your side of it, but this is your time to let us know. So,
well, I think it was exciting because it was going to be install appliance day. So we were looking forward to having everything in place. And kind of getting back to that normalcy of having the kitchen fully functioning. And then when they went to put it in the refrigerator, it didn't fit. So, that was a little bit distressing. When we first, were planning on the refrigerator and making the space for it, what was in there was somewhat of a smaller refrigerator. And we wanted to make sure that we had allowed the space to be able to get the kind of refrigerator that we really wanted. And to make it easier, in the future, if we needed to get a new one or say somebody else lived here, they'd be able to have more options and what needed to go in that particular space. So it didn't fit. And Kevin came out and pondered that on what happened and what went wrong. And so from there, it was, just a matter of trying to figure out how to make that work.
And Stephanie, you are so gracious and so nice. And I think, right, Ron, I think Kevin was, because we kind of saw, you gave us all the specs, you gave us everything we needed to make the decision. And I think Kevin just miscalculated a few things and, from his end, and he was like beside himself that had happened. And then, go ahead. So, Kevin was like, oh man, he felt so bad, but, go ahead and tell the rest of the story and, how did that process go for you guys in regards to how, that was handled? Was it a good experience, bad experience? Would you do anything different?
I don't think I would have done anything different. I think Kevin owned up to what had happened, and it was, the difference between an inch and 3 inches. So, and with something like this, that's a big deal, and it just throws everything off. So it's a chain reaction. And I think Kevin came in and owned up to it and figured out a way to fix it. And I like that he took ownership of it and showed up and we worked through it and figured out what we could do to make it right, and so that everything would fall in line. And it was I like that it was very non-invasive. There was a way that he figured out to make it non-invasive, only because it was a matter of 1 to 2 inches. Had it been any more than that, then, who knows what could have happened. But I'm sure it would have been fixed and it would have been just fine. I really want to start from the beginning though, because
Okay.
when the demolition started, we had a problem with the gas line. That wasn't on the quote, and I think that was I don't know if that was the plumber's problem or it was paperwork mix up, but you had worked with me with that, and we figured that out. And then the first refrigerator was KitchenAid, and we ended up buying it, but they couldn't get it because they quit manufacturing them.
There were lots of issues with the refrigerator.
Yeah. So we did go through 4 refrigerators, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yes. We did. We were going through that the team the other day. You're right, Ron.
I think that confused the whole matter. And in the long run, we ended up with the right one, and everything was fixed and everything was kosher.
Yeah.
And it worked out pretty well. And I think that a big part of that was Kevin. So
I think it kind of goes back to, in the beginning when you're picking somebody and you're trying to pick somebody that you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped, I think, in the long run because, mistakes happen all the time. I mean, everybody's human. And so, you totally understand that. But the fact that, you worked with us to try to rectify that issue and make it work and, give us the kitchen that we were, planning on having and, wanting to have, was really ultimately the most important thing and was greatly appreciated.
Yeah. And I remember coming home and telling her that, how many companies would come in here and redo all this. If it was, I don't know, somebody else, they may have said, it is what it is. So that's the way it's going to stay. So it's kind of very appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we hear that a lot, but through other companies, obviously. But that's the bottom line is that, and I think you both spoke it very well, was that choosing the right company is good, but also like you said, 2 inches. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it threw that whole wall off. And for you, Stephanie, that was, I believe that was like kind of besides the color of the cabinets and all that wall was like that's what you're going to see. And you did not like what you saw. And I remember I think it's the only time, Ron and Stephanie, that I came down to the job site just to kind of, talk with you with Kevin. And we came up with that game plan because we wanted to make it right. And that's what you're hiring someone to do. We need to make it right. You're spending good money, and you guys are gracious and very accommodating in regards to allowing us to make the changes to make it right. So we definitely appreciate that. So the $1 million question now. Great work is worth talking about. So will you tell your friends about Simply Distinct?
Oh, yeah. I already have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. We appreciate that. So I appreciate your candidness and you guys going through this project. I know we had a couple bumps, but as we go through this podcast, we'll see some of the befores, the middles, and Brian will do a great job of putting those together. Our producer, we always want to give him a shout out, and we'll get you guys the final look. And I just wanted to say that, folks, I'm Brett Ruiz, owner of Simply Distinct Kitchens and Baths, and I know that we want great work, and we think great work is worth talking about. And if you'd like to tell your friends treatment for your home or your kitchen or bath, reach out to us. You can find our episodes on our website, and you can watch on our YouTube channel. So, Ron and Stephanie, thank you so much for being here because great work is worth talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This has been the Tell Your Friends podcast, a behind-the-scenes real review of our customers' home remodeling projects in their words. Nothing to hide here. Catch more episodes at greatworkworthtalkingabout.com or wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. The Tell Your Friends introduction program is an upfront promise of your satisfaction. If you'd like more information about this program or ways Simply Distinct Kitchens and Baths can improve your home, call us today at 330-725-2235 or click on SimplyDistinctKitchenandBath.com. Simply Distinct Kitchens and Baths, improving lives by improving homes. We'll see you next time on the Tell Your Friends podcast, because great work is worth talking about. A Brian Media production.